It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, radio host from Denver, Darren McKee. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the playoff edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. A lot going on the show today. We're going to obviously break down the Bills and the Broncos. We'll break down the entire playoff format for this week during the super wild card weekend is what they call it now. Right? We also have Darren McKee, who is a Denver sportscaster who did some work in Buffalo here in the mid-'90s. He'll be joining us to talk about the Broncos. And, of course, it's Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin, talking briefly about the Patriots game. I mean, really briefly. So things that I have two lists here. One I didn't like and things I did like from the game. Number one, I didn't like Taylor Rapp getting undressed in that game. He got undressed, beat badly on a deep touchdown by Joe Milton. I didn't like that. I didn't like Bass missing extra point. I don't care if the game is meaningless or not. Make an extra point. It's a chip shot. I also didn't love the fact that coaching staff didn't leave the team with any timeouts with 2 minutes left. If they were actually trying at all their backups to win the game, they had no timeouts left to work with, under 2 minutes left to even try and win the game. I didn't love that. Didn't love the fact they lost a challenge. And I didn't love the fact that Codrington got injured in the game. He had a hamstring. He's been dealing with that all week. Now, things I did like. A, no really significant injuries. Yeah. Right? B, records achieved. C, incentives gained. Division rival lost the overall number one, which maybe is the most important of all. And Mike White at wide receiver, which nobody seemed to see.
No, I didn't see it.
I had to listen to local radio to hear that he was even on the field playing wide receiver. You didn't see it. I don't remember seeing it. And ideally, most people didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the game. So coming out of it, I think we can all agree that injuries in the end and not having any key ones, any key players that played was really the number one takeaway from that game, right?
Definitely. I think another takeaway is Joe Milton looked like a baller out there.
He looked like a baby Cam Newton.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Patriots fan, I'd love to see some more of that guy.
Me too.
But, yeah, I mean, the most important part, no injuries besides Codrington with the hamstring. And, they didn't need to have a totally clean game, but they played pretty close with the backups in. And, I think it was kind of a race to see who could lose that game because the Patriots want that number one pick, too. And you see Mayo gets fired right after the game, probably because they didn't get the number one pick.
Right. I think, and there was a lot of talk about that when it happened about Mayo getting fired. I think he was already fired.
Yeah, probably.
But it just was a formality that the Patriots didn't want to go through having an interim head coach for 3 weeks or whatever it was. But who knows? I mean, the way Kraft comes out after the game and is almost like apologetic for it, I thought was really odd. Granted, he was a player for him, so he probably did feel bad in that way. But, man, he didn't really get much of a chance. And shout out to Alex Van Pelt, because I think he got let go as well, and he's a good dude and a talented OC, so hopefully he latches on. So, usually this segment goes longer, but no need to. Let's get to Darren McKee next, the Mafia, and then Bills Broncos during this playoff edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
RV shoppers, Myers RV invites you to shop over 100 brands of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes from all the leading manufacturers. Myers RV is the largest family-owned RV dealer in the Northeast with over 2,000 new and used RVs in stock. Right now, all remaining 2024 models are being offered at drastically reduced prices. Myers RV has 3 convenient locations in Rochester to serve you. Just a quick trip east on the 90 to save you thousands. Online at MyersRVs.com. Go Bills!
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
All right, old friend, Buffalo native, D-Mac is what they call him in the Mile High City. Darren McKee, longtime Buffalo radio guy. How long have you been in Denver, dude?
I've been in Denver 26 years.
Damn.
So, yeah, I was in Buffalo from, not quite a native, but I was in Buffalo from 93 to 98. So my first year in Buffalo was the 4th year the Bills went to the Super Bowl. So I thought Buffalo was awesome. You know, it was incredible going from Syracuse to Buffalo. And I was in Jim Kelly's bar. We were going to host the big party after they finally were going to win. And it was just howling January winds and just all that. And then I gave up on the Bills when they benched Doug Flutie for Rob Johnson in the Music City Miracle. That sucked. But I picked him up again as a fan when they drafted Josh Allen because, you know, Josh was in our backyard and the Broncos blew it in 2018 to the benefit of the Bills.
Let's talk too about, you know, back to Denver. And this goes to the old Belichick-Brady argument, right? How much of this team's success is the coach and how much is the quarterback?
A lot's on the coach. I mean, we had some horrible coaches before. I mean, it was terrible. So a lot's on Sean Payton. And the biggest reason is because Sean Payton had the right vision for the quarterback he wanted. And it wasn't Russell Wilson. You know, without the right quarterback, you got nothing. But if you don't have a coach to set that quarterback up in the right way, then you're in big trouble, especially when they're young. I think the difference in Buffalo with Josh Allen is he's so good right now. It doesn't seem to matter who his coach is now. But I don't think that was the case in the beginning. And I think coaching was, and it didn't all click with Josh right away. And he was able to use his feet and sort of scramble out of problems. Well, that's very similar to Bo Nix. Kind of the same. And I think people have been very surprised how athletic Bo Nix is. So if you want to make some Josh Allen, Bo Nix comparisons, I mean, I would get it. He's not quite as big as Josh, who is, but he's not small either. He's closer to 6'3" than 6'2", and he's got fine athleticism. And he's got great accuracy, which Josh developed. So the comparisons are there, man. I think the AFC is crazy, dude. I mean, it's nuts. When you think of the best, you think of Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar, and I think you could quickly be putting Bo Nix into that class.
It's funny that you failed to mention Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but
we're so sick of Patrick Mahomes.
I know. So are we.
We have, it's God. I mean, it's like the Jets having to deal with Josh Allen. It's just like, you got to be kidding me. So I guess I did leave him out. I shouldn't. I just have PTSD with Patrick Mahomes. The guy, I shouldn't have left him out. I should not have left him out. He's obviously maybe the greatest of all time. We'll see. And it's been annoying as hell. But it was nice to spank the hell out of the Chiefs this past weekend. And I know it was the bargain basement, dollar bin, JV Chiefs. I get it. I get it all. But this is what should make Bills fans nervous. This is what should make you nervous. You realize those were still NFL players. That was still Andy Reid. I get it. You were always going to lose, but you were going to lose like that. And then there's other guys on the Broncos that people probably aren't aware of. You're probably not aware of Jonathan Cooper or Nick Bonito, maybe. You probably know Pat Surtain, but you probably don't know Riley Moss or Brandon Jones or the fact that John Franklin Myers from the Jets is now on the Broncos. And the defense for the Broncos has been, it's been unbelievable for the most part this season. And that's kind of the secret sauce. I think the Bills are going to win. Let me get it straight, okay? I do think they're going to win, but it has potential to be a lot more difficult than people may think.
We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Shatkin Jr., board-certified plastic surgeon. In addition to my many other aesthetic treatments, I'm now offering the revolutionary 4D facelift exclusively for you. Look your best in the new year. Make the resolution right now to give us a call at the Aesthetic Associate Center. Come in for a free consultation. Just mention Buffalo Healthy Living Magazine, 716-800-6026, and find out more at drshatkin.com.
My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been because I was really, really self-conscious about my teeth. When I walked into Shatkin Dental, I was instantly ready for the residency program. I knew that that is what I needed. I needed the discount. I needed the dentist that was gonna fix everything. My self-esteem is already getting much, much, much higher just from starting the procedures.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile for quality dental care you can afford.
Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Time to go in the pocket. We've yet to talk about Bo Nix, who looks like perhaps a younger version and a slightly smaller version of our quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go that far, but he is a very good athlete, a very underrated athlete. I mean, I think he ran close to 4.5 at the combine. You saw in the lateral that got called back, but I mean, he can fly. So I think we got to kind of keep him in the pocket, like I say a lot, but keep him in the pocket and make him go to his third and fourth read, which Sean Payton does a good job of kind of scheming stuff up for him to get first and second read. He's a rookie quarterback. So if we're able to take away his first and second look and contain him in the pocket, then I think we can have some success. But he can be deadly if he can get outside the pocket and make some plays.
For sure. And he looked, especially in the Kansas City game, and we've seen him some other games, like really composed. Like he just doesn't typically get rattled, to your point, disguise some stuff, get some pressure on him, put some people in his face, knock him down, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely some pressure in that game because they have to win to get into the playoffs, but at the same time, you know they're resting a lot of starters. So I think this week will be a whole new ballgame as far as the pressure first playoff game. I mean, that stadium's going to be rocking, so it's definitely going to be something for him. So we'll see how he can do.
All right, get rid of the ball. Time to go to the Mafia. It is time for the playoff version of the Mafia. It's an all-star crew, of course. Jared back, Sam back, Evan back. The Bobs are back as well for a return appearance and a lot to talk about, fellas. Let's start here. I'm going to go around you. We're going to make this the true round table. I'm going to ask each of you one guy, aside from Josh Allen, that has to perform against the Broncos for the Bills to win. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Jared. One guy.
All right, well, appreciate that for starting with me, putting me on the spot there. I think who has to perform for the Bills to win? I think Matt Milano has to perform for the Bills to win. I think he's got to get back into form. He's got to be able to tackle the running backs. They got a pretty good gap scheme run game, and I think he's got to be a big part of stopping the Broncos.
Bobby, one guy.
I'm going to go with Rousseau.
Okay.
I think we need to put pressure on their quarterback, and I think he's due for a big game. And Von Miller seems to be getting better every week, so maybe Rousseau can have a breakout.
Bob, what about you? One guy.
Ed Oliver. Has got to play. He's just. We all mentioned all defensive guys so far. Pretty much the theme. Oliver's got to play. He's got to play like we've seen him play, but he's got to come up big.
Evan.
I'm going to go with one group. Give me the entire Bills offensive line. Denver leads the league in sacks with 63. So this entire Bills offensive line is going to have to do a good job in front of Josh Allen, giving him time to do what he does best.
See, that's what the young whippersnappers do. They just rule break all the time. They're like, you had one job. That's fine. I'll let you go on this one.
I'm going to go with Joe Brady because this is it. We're in the dance now. There's no holding back. I mean, this has to be full steam ahead. Everything we got in the bag, nothing left over, because guess what? If you lose this week, it's over with. So we're worried about the head coach interviews further down the road.
That's the segue I was looking for. So how many of you guys think Joe Brady is here next year? Show of hands. Half the crew thinks Joe Brady's here. The other three think he's gone. So obviously at this point it's the Jets, the Saints, the Jaguars,
and the Bears.
Have inquired about Joe Brady and the Raiders.
Oh, I don't know if they're inquired.
Well, they fired Antonio Pierce this week, so yes, could be on the radar there too. Look, I mean, Saints, LSU, he spent a little time there, right? Jets, I mean, you could argue he knows everything about the Bills, and the Jets do have talent outside of the quarterback room, obviously, but they can maybe go get a quarterback. So that might be attractive. Although I don't know about you guys, I don't think I would ever work for Woody Johnson, man. There always seems to be issues. The fact that he even considers interviewing Rex Ryan for a job, to me, would be a problem if I was a head coaching candidate, right? So I don't know if that's a fit. Jaguars have some talent. Maybe he thinks he can work with Trevor Lawrence. I didn't raise my hand. I think he will be back in Buffalo. I think it's just too good to be true here with Josh Allen as, the unicorn that he's become on this team. So I think he stays as well. Another question.
Similar to Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
He could have left last year or 2 years ago.
Sure.
I think there's a reason he stayed. It's the same way. It's a great situation.
Yes, I would agree. So Broncos beat the Bills in Buffalo last year because of a too many men penalty. Right?
You got.
So here's the question. How many of you have confidence in Coach McDermott to have control of situations similar to that? He's had issues this year in situations similar to that. he's been criticized every single year. The Bills haven't gone to the Super Bowl of some sort of gaffe right along the way. What do you think? Are you confident in Coach going into this game that he's going to have all his ducks in a row and make the right decisions when it comes time to make those decisions?
Yes, I do. I think this year he's definitely made a few mistakes, but for the most part, he's made the right plays in terms of kind of managing the clock and getting the personnel out there. I think this year he's ready, and I think the Broncos are going to have a tough time with the coaching scheme that Sean McDermott's going to put up. I think he's going to be a big reason why we go far this playoff.
Would you guys all agree that McDermott's shown more this year than in the past?
He's been better.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of special teams coach fouled up one game, you know, so I think he's better at it.
It's on him.
I don't know if
but
I don't know if he's ever won a red flag.
Right? I mean, he lost a challenge in the New England game. Not that it mattered.
I think he's been better, but I can't say that I'm super confident going in. Just based on the history, it's just I can't say that I am.
I'd say the perfect example this year is the Chiefs game, 4th and 2, and not allowing himself as a coach to be put in a position to have a 13-second situation. Let your players play, and that's what McDermott did was Josh Allen go ice the game. So if the Bills head coach Sean McDermott can put the players in a position to further themselves out of having to make a coaching debacle decision down the stretch in a late game, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
The McDermott has given me confidence.
Sometimes coaches have to get out of their own ways, right? I mean, I think we would all agree that coaches at times overthink. And yeah, to your point, Evan, just let the guys play, right? Okay, let's fast forward now, guys. I had crossover players ready for you guys for some Sorrentino's dough, but we're not going to do that. We're going to jump to this wonderful board here. Look at this. The playoffs are here, so we're going to go all around. I'll just get a show of hands who thinks who's going to win each game, okay? And then we'll finally, at the end of the Mafia, have you guys pick the Bills and the Broncos in terms of a score, okay? So let's start with the Steelers at the Ravens. Who likes the Steelers by a show of hands? Anybody like the Steelers in this game on the road against Baltimore? They are arguably the worst team in the playoffs at this point right now.
Cover the spread,
yes.
To win.
All right, we like the Ravens in that game. Chargers, Texans down below. Obviously, the Texans seem down. I think everyone, I don't know, I'm going to assume, even though it's on the road, the Chargers win. I'm taking the Chargers.
I like Chargers.
In this game.
I like Chargers.
Not only do I like the Chargers, I'm calling they're going to beat Kansas City, and we're going to host the championship game in Buffalo.
There you go. Okay.
There we go.
We flip over now to the NFC.
Right now.
We'll go to the top. Packers at the Eagles. No Christian Watson for the Packers. Hurts has been in and out of the lineup for them. Obviously, they got Saquon, who missed the last game of the year. Healthy, obviously. What do you guys think of 7v2? Eagles? Eagles? Like the Packers. Packers as well.
If Jordan Love is healthy, because he got hurt last
That's
game.
right.
Yeah.
If Jordan Love's healthy, I like the Packers.
Okay. Commanders and Bucks. I know Jack is somewhere in the background behind the camera. He's a big Bucks fan, and he picked the Bucks to win this game, and they are hot. Jaden Daniels is what he has. He's been pulling off magic all year long. But the Bucks at home, Mayfield's been fantastic. This is maybe the one game that's toss-up of all of them. What do you guys think?
I'm a bit of a coin flip on this
Yeah.
one. I think I like the Commanders in this game because I like the way Jaden Daniels kind of played the last 3 weeks.
Bob, what do you think?
You know what? I agree with Jared. I think it could go either way, but I'm leaning towards the Commanders too.
Okay. You guys?
I got the Bucks. Mayfield's been playing great.
Yeah, you too?
I'm going to take the Commanders.
I think I got the Bucks if they played through Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
Last week they decided not to in the first half, and they looked rough. And then obviously Baker made some huge plays. But if they feed Bucky Irving early, I think because the Commanders have a pretty
Underrated.
big run defense.
Yeah, Bucks need balance. Need balance. Vikings, Rams. What do we think? Rams at home. The Vikings put up a terrible game, obviously, against the Lions.
You know what? The Detroit coach said to the Viking coach at the end of the game, "I'll see you in 2 weeks," and that's what most people think. But you know what? The Rams are playing really good football, especially the last 9 weeks of the season. I'm picking the Rams to beat them.
What do you guys think?
I got the Vikings.
I'm going to go upset special, too, with the Rams.
I'm going to take the Rams, too. They've been hot.
I like the Vikings because I think everybody has recency bias from the last game. I
Right.
think the Vikings have been playing kind of rock solid all year. So
All right, it's going to be interesting to see, obviously. And finally, let's talk about the Bills and the Broncos. So, Bob, I'll start with you and a score prediction for the Bills and Broncos on Sunday
I'm
afternoon.
going to go Buffalo 28, Denver 20.
Okay, close game, and Broncos cover.
Cold weather, close game.
We have to be able to maintain a lead. We have to protect a lead in the playoffs. 31-30 Bills.
Oh, wow. Evan.
Give me the Bills 31-24.
Oh, man.
I know Bills 31-23.
31-23. Okay, we have the Bills. Everyone's
going to struggle. I'm worried this playoffs, but hopefully
everyone's going to advance based on you four, and of course the two of us will come back and talk about the Bills and Broncos in depth when we return on the Shatkin F.I.R.S.T Buffalo pregame show.
I am so happy with my experience that I had at iSmile Spas today. Got my teeth professionally whitened. I have months of results in less than an hour. No pain, seriously not even a sting. They're not sensitive. You leave with a kit to continue your whitening. Absolutely incredible. I'm so happy I ever did this. I can't stop smiling.
Western New York. Smile again with confidence. Call 43-SMILE today.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
Welcome back to the Shatkin F.I.R.S.T Out Buffalo pregame show. Let's talk the Bills and Broncos. All right, so here we go. One and done, right? Or one and move on, obviously. Look, I mean, for the Broncos, this is such a huge game for them, especially their fan base. Finally back in the playoffs after, 7-8 years without. Mm-hmm. And they go back to the 2018 draft. I mean, you heard Darren McKee talk about it earlier, about the fact that they had a chance at Josh Allen, and Laramie, Wyoming is not far from Denver, and they needed an heir apparent to Peyton Manning, and they didn't take him. In fact, they took a guy that doesn't even play for him anymore, Bradley Chubb. So this is really important for the Broncos to sort of, cleanse themselves from that 2018 draft. What do you make of Denver? I mean, all their losses have come to playoff teams except Seattle, who was close to a playoff team, and that was in week 1 of the season, and Cincinnati in overtime 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, look, they've lost to good teams, and they've managed to get 10 wins along the way. So what do you make in general of the Broncos coming into this game?
I like what they have in terms of their trajectory as a team. They're looking up. Bo Nix is a really talented player. He's made some incredible throws this year, just highlight reel throws. But I think that this is time to show that the Bills are kind of a different class than that. This is their first year in the playoffs since 2018, it's probably 2015, I think. And it's time to show that the Bills have been there 5 straight years, won the AFC East 5 straight years, and this is kind of, our team is polished, and I think that the Bills are going to show that.
I agree. I mean, I think it's the time for the Bills to show that, they're in that elite class, right? And that the Broncos are playing with a team that nobody expected to be in the playoffs, period, because they had such bad salary cap issues. I mean, if you were to ask the guy on the street NFL fan who plays for the Broncos, right, they probably would get Nix. They might get Sutton, and maybe they get Patrick Surtain, right? Beyond that, I mean, you and I follow football very closely, so we know their roster, but most people have no clue who's on the Broncos, right? So
their roster is a lot of unknown players, but their defense really gets after the passer. They play lockdown in the back end. Patrick Surtain is great. And they have a really strong defense. And offensively, they got a bunch of guys like the Bills where everybody eats. And they have a really good play caller in Sean Payton. This is a scary team to play, for sure.
You're going with the sack-happy #1 sack team in the league against arguably the best offensive line. What a matchup that's going to be up front. And they do it all, or not all, but primarily from the edges, right? Mm-hmm. So most of their sacks are coming from rush ends who in a 3-4 technically linebackers. But that's where most of their pressure comes from. You're going to hear guys' names like Allen and Cooper and Benito in terms of sacks. Franklin Myers, who was with the Jets, really nice player that came over and has done some nice things. And then on the back end, obviously, you got Surtain and some other guys. Again, that Brandon Jones, some people might know that name. The rookie Ellis out of Utah, really nice linebacker. Barton's a nice linebacker. Mm-hmm. They're pretty good. They give up less than 100 yards a game on the run game, which has been a strong suit for the Bills. So that's another thing to watch out for.
Yeah, but you know what? I think the equalizer in this game is Josh Allen's legs. I think he's going to have to use them a lot, and he's going to have to create plays outside the pocket. The receivers are going to have to be ready for for him to scramble for scramble drill. I think Keon Coleman's going to be ready for that. So, when a team has a good pass rush, I'm not too worried about it because we have that guy back there who never gets sacked.
Yeah, scheme is going to mean everything in this game. Back to Bo Nix, 66% complete, almost 3,800 pass yards, but 430 rush yards. Like, the guy can run the football. He's got good legs. He has escapability. He's got pretty good composure and pocket presence, so it's going to be very interesting. The Bills are going to have to pressure him for sure. The guy that I'm probably most worried about is Marvin Mims. He's a guy that has just over 500 yards total for receptions, and almost every one of those yards, about 95% of those yards, are yak, yards after catch. So how do the Bills defend that?
Well, man, I'm definitely worried about that guy. He's been having a career year, and he is incredible after the catch. I think the Bills are definitely going to have their issues between the 20s, and I say this every week, between the 20s. But, when those windows get smaller, I think Bo Nix is going to have to make some big, accurate throws, and I think that's where they're going to have trouble.
Really interesting stat to bring up for this game. The Bills are second to worst in the league forcing punts. So that means one of two things. When the other team has the ball, either the Bills are taking it away or they're scoring points. So the Bills have got to get off the field on third down in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to have a fast start offensively because at home we've been known to not have a fast start offensively. Yeah, we got to get off the field on third down. Von Miller has to show up big against his former team. I think he'll have plenty of motivation. I think Greg Rousseau will have plenty of motivation. I think Ed Oliver's been coming along strong. So I am hopeful that we're going to see a different defense in the postseason than we've seen some of the regular season.
By the way, in terms of special teams, we talked about it a little bit. We hinted at it a little bit earlier in the show. They have the #1 punt return team in Marvin Mims, who averages almost 16 yards a punt return. That's #1 in the league. So, again, special teams going to be a big deal. Bass has been inconsistent all year. Their kicker, Lutz, has been really, really good. I think he's 91% in field goals. He's not missed an extra point all year. Doesn't have a huge leg as long as 55, but still, this is going to be a really, really interesting game. And look, the Broncos have nothing to lose. They're young, they're hungry, they're no names, and you got to believe Peyton's preaching that all week long to them.
This is the hardest wild card game the Bills have had yet. This is going to be a game where you're going to have to clench the whole game. This is going to be a tight one, and you're going to have to stay focused. You can't get too confident in this game. If you're the Bills, you have to come out with a ton of energy because it's not like you're playing Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins. It's not like you're playing Mason Rudolph. You're playing a legit contender right now, and they got to play like that.
I'm going to stay with you. Let's get your score prediction for this game.
I think we're going to get off to a fast start, and we're going to kind of shut it down defensively. I think the Bills are going to win 31-20.
I like the Bills as well. I think they win 34-20, similar score to yours, and move on. All right, well, thank you for joining us. We got to thank our sponsors, of course, Aesthetic Associates, Shatkin Dental, Dr. Todd Shatkin, Myers RVs, and Sorrentino's as well. Thanks to Darren McKee. Great job as well. Thanks to the Mafia members, and certainly for you watching. We appreciate you throughout the weekend watching us on WBBZ. Thanks to them as well for having us. Go Bills! Let's win it and have another week with the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.